Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson. This is Full Time Devils. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you're all having a good Monday. Hope it's been nice and productive for you so far. Let's have a little break, delve into some transfers and find out what is going on. So Harry Maguire is definitely going to be the biggest name on all the list of everybody. Confirmed basically by all the journalists, not by the club. We've seen him going in and out of Carrington for medicals and stuff like that. We are expecting his imminent announcement as a Manchester United player. They've probably just been doing all of the photographs that they need to do for the 922 sponsors that we've got. He's posed with Nissan noodles. He's posed with a brew for the little Melita thing. He's sat in a car. He's done all that kind of caper, and that's probably taken all of this time. He also probably would have done his MUTV interview and all the rest of that sort of stuff today. So I would imagine that that's probably coming out today. £80 million with a couple of add-ons. Loads of debate, as always, if he's worth it. But the main point is, it's not how much we're paying for him, it's what he's going to offer to the team. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, did you see people losing their shit about that about, 4 weeks ago? Have you seen anyone lose their shit about it since we've seen his performances on pre-season? That's what you hope happens with Harry Maguire, and that's what I do believe will happen. We definitely can't afford to see the likes of Phil Jones and Chris Smalling starting maybe more than like 2 matches, I reckon, this season. And I hope that Axel Tuanzebe drafts up, passing all of these weapons, and becomes the third choice centre-half at the club now that Eric Bayer is out injured. So the deal has been needed. It improves the back four. We've taken a massive level up with replacing the right back and the new centre half, so that's a good step for United. Hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for De Gea to play behind, and hopefully that means that we can also save some goals next season, because we conceded quite a lot last season. Aside from that, we've got a new name in the transfer mix, and that's David Neres. Now, I think this is a real interesting one. Claim started back in Brazil, which Brazil do like linking players with United. I've noticed that. You do often get a lot of players linked from Brazil with United. Not quite so many as Portugal, which is just daft, but you do get a lot of players linked. I think David Neres is a hell of a player. And do you know what makes me sad about this, though? Is it's that Ajax teams are getting absolutely ripped apart, because I really enjoyed watching them last season, and now they've been absolutely decimated, haven't they? Let's hope that they're able to rebuild and have another good go at it again, because that's a team and a club that's run the correct way, and I hope that it pays off for them, that they don't just now have one half-decent season when they probably should have got to the Champions League final, and then they don't get there for another 10, 15 years because they've lost all of these players. But Neres, 12 goals, 15 assists last season. Is he the alternative to the Fernandez, who we're being told now there was never any interest for? Is he the alternative to someone like a Dybala, who we are at least saying we're not going to pay the transfer fee for? Whether or not that's true or not, I guess we'll find out. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think on that one. Right, Dybala. One of the reasons that Neres is probably being linked is in the back of the Dybala deal collapsing. Dybala has played on the right and plays central as well. Neres is more out wide, so I definitely think they was looking at someone to be a bit of a wide playmaker on that sort of side, similar to what Juan Mata did when he had legs a few years ago. It does look like there's going to be an absolute raft of attacking players get linked with us, ranging from, like, if I'd have said to you Mandzukic a few weeks ago, you'd been like, but I think you're going to see everybody. I'd expect Andy Carroll and Welbeck to get linked with us as well going into the next few days of the transfer window, just because. McCullough covered Dybala last night, not coming to Old Trafford after United decided that they weren't keen on paying the wages, and he wasn't keen on coming for anything less than astronomical wages. It basically just didn't fancy it. And to be honest, I'm glad we've not paid it, because he's on what he's asked for is like at least 100 grand less than what we're paying Alexis Sanchez, which is nuts when you think about it. Or what we're paying him is around about the approximation of what we're paying Phil Jones, Chris Smalling and Ashley Young. You got to ask yourself, who would be more effective for United next season? Phil Jones, Ashley Young and Chris Smalling, or one Dybala? It throws into light how utterly ridiculous the wages that we pay Sanchez are, and how utterly ridiculous is it that everyone's picking their starting 11 for the Chelsea game. Everyone's trying to go, think it's going to be this, think it's going to be that. Not one person have I seen put Alexis Sanchez in their starting 11 for the Chelsea game. And this is the guy that's on the most money. This is supposedly one of our few world-class players, which he certainly was when he was at Arsenal. We haven't seen that guy turn up. I think we got his brother. And then on to Mandzukic. Mandzukic, now, it looks like this deal isn't dead, although it did seem that it was going to be part of the Lukaku and Dybala deal. It was like a big mishmash of the way it's all getting thrown in. But it looks like this one still might have some legs to it. It says there's reports that United are still keen on him. 33 years of age. Clearly fits Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's mould of going for young, hungry, British talent by signing 33-year-old slow Croatian. But do you know what? I'm not mad at it, because there's a very much a plan A vibe about Marcus, Mason and Tony Marshall. They all play the game a very similar sort of way. And if you try and ask any of them to hold the ball up, if you ask any of them to be that bit of a rougher sort of target man, centre forward, they're shite. They can't do it. That's not their game. Their game is to put the ball in behind them, dribble past someone and slot it in the net. That's the game that those three play. Mandzukic is very different. Mandzukic does offer us a plan B. And I like the idea of having a plan B. And I like the idea of someone as well-travelled and experienced as Mandzukic. Not going to come for a lot of money. Not going to demand a starting place. I think that's perfectly fine transfer for United to bring in all honesty. I think he's a good one. And Zlatan, Teddy Sheringham, Henrik Larsson, signed all them lot on the wrong side of 30, and arguably they've been a few of our better transfers over the years. That's pretty much it for the ins. In terms of the outs, obviously, Lukaku. Oh my God, if he has to come back to training. He's been a fucking knob all the way through the summer, hasn't he? To be honest, it started around about February, March time when he starts going, really want to play in Serie A. And clearly those hints weren't enough. He then started going, Conte's the best manager in the world. For starters, that's rum. That is so rum. Whether or not that might be true, whether or not that's something you genuinely believe, there's an etiquette that was broken when you start talking about another team's manager while you're employed by one club, especially when it's been known that you want to, and that doesn't want to be there. We saw him at a Kohler event on the last day, the day after the last match in Singapore. And that looked like a man that was so checked out, that was so over whatever it is that he was here to do, that just didn't give a shit about the club anymore. That he was just like, he was laughing about it. He just didn't care. You can just get this vibe on him that it was like, this is the last thing I'll do in a United shirt is stand there on this stage. He doesn't want to be here. And there's a lot of United fans who are like, I don't want him to be here either. I was well excited when he signed. But his attitude over the last 6 months, I'll be well happy when he goes as well. And I'm gutted it's not worked out, because I still think there's a top player in there, and I fully expect him to go to Italy and absolutely tear it up. But where does this leave him now? There is talk of Inter coming in for him. There is still talk that Juventus are interested, and they're going to just start raiding the back drawers and trying to find out someone who's willing to come to Manchester to get that price down, because they've blown so much money on transfers lately that financial fair play means that they can't just pay the fee. It's going to be really interesting to find out how all that goes down. Another one that's... he started off the summer by chops in his mouth a little bit, but actually has calmed down a little bit, which makes me think that he's probably not going to go anywhere this summer. And that's Paul Pogba. Because it's not usually the mode of a Raiola player to not say anything and just allow a transfer to go on. Now, Real Madrid have supposedly not got any money. They've offered us 27 million plus James Rodriguez. What are you sniffing? That is absolutely ludicrous. That's literally like me phoning you up and going, Barcelona, can we have Messi? I'll give you 48 quid and Ashley Young. Don't take the piss. That's absolutely ridiculous. Another player in an area that, personally, I think we're really well stacked in, James Rodriguez, another South American, which possibly won't work out in the Premier League, for Paul Pogba. Whether or no, it's so ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's worse than what Barcelona offered for him last year, which was like 50 million and Yerry Mina. Like, no, absolutely no whatsoever. So, by the sounds of it, he does want to go, but maybe he's resigned to the fact that they don't have the money to buy him this summer. Which means there's a big dilemma there for United, because if you now allow him to get into those last couple of years of his contract, he's going to just half his value next year and then go for free the following year, which is not ideal. So I think if United don't sell him this summer, they probably should try and get him to renew a contract, which means that going into next summer at least, even if it's just a 1-year extension on what he's got, give him a bit of a pay rise. At least next year, if he still wants to go, you're still looking at 130, 140 million for him to go anywhere, if not maybe more, because as we know, the transfer market just rising all the time. Bournemouth today have told Leicester that they'd want 75 million for Nathan Ake. I'm a fan of Nathan Ake. That's mental. So this is the way it's going. And then Mason Greenwood. It's not Mason Greenwood. Everyone shit it when they said United are losing Greenwood, but they're talking about the captain of the women's team. She's on the verge of a move to Lyon, who look like they're building an absolute globetrotters of a side. I know Nat and a couple of us that follow the women's team are absolutely devastated, but Lyon are the biggest in the women's game. It's sad to see your captain go, but I guess that's one of those things that happen. As usual, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll be back with another one tomorrow. Laters.